Hey guys, College here and welcome back to my F1 2016 career mode for season 2, and we're here for round 12 for the German Grand Prix here at Hockenheim. It's a track that I'm feeling fairly confident at after qualifying. We'll go over qualifying and practice at the moment, but the track is looking very, very good today, in quite contrast to qualifying, in which it was a complete washout. It was very, very wet, but here is the circuit. Obviously a lot of people prefer the old circuit. Me, I just prefer the Nürburgring, if I'm really honest. I just prefer the Nürburgring compared to the Hockenheim, but I seem to prefer it quite a bit because I got pole in the dynamics of the session. It went from full wet to intermediate conditions. Only a few of us went in the intermediates, and you've got to see that there's a few faces at the front that you wouldn't expect, but I did manage to snatch pole position, and we can have a look at the qualifying results now, and you can see that I am in pole position, but Stoffel Van Dorn joins me on the front row, Sebastian Vettel in third, Roman Grosjean lines up in P4 just behind, with Daniel Ricciardo. I think it was Daniel Ricciardo downwards that was qualifying on the wet, so that's why they're quite far off in terms of the rest of the field, but Lance Stroll just rounds out the top 10 there, but that means we've got a free choice of tyre for the start of this race. Okay, so it's wanting me to start on a set of mediums. Not sure if I want to start on a set of mediums. I don't know whether I want to go I kind of feel like it ought to go soft, medium, soft. I feel like that's a slightly better strategy. A little bit more safe at the start of the race. If we, God, how long do you want us to take these? About 13, 14 laps. Yeah, so I think that strategy is sort of about right. Take the softs about 11 laps at the start, and then we could probably take a set of mediums about 13 laps, and then take a set of softs about 10 laps at the end. I feel like that's just about right, but we've underfueled the car, and we can jump straight into it. If you remember the last time out in Hungary, a slightly annoying race for me, I've got to say. I was a little bit annoyed how poor my pace was, and I was quite lucky to get third position, obviously after Hamilton having his issue on the final lap. If you did miss that episode, there's a link to the playlist in the description. You can catch up on any of the previous episodes so far this race. But if you look in the top left, I start on the set of softs. Van Dorn starts on the set of softs alongside me, but quite crucially, Sebastian Vettel starts on a set of super softs, so he's wanted to go quite quick out of the grid box and just go straight into it, hitting the ground running. But also thinking back to practice, I was feeling fairly confident actually just throughout the weekend. We're coming to this weekend actually with Mercedes having a double upgrade, so the fact that they're nowhere near me on the starting grid is actually quite good, because they've really been showing the pace, has been quite resurgent. Ocon's pace hasn't been as good compared to me. It's really ebbing and flowing in terms of who's got the better pace at different circuits. It seems like every other circuit I have the pace, and obviously any circuit that I do not have the pace is Ocon. That's the one that's right up there at the moment, but we are currently still the best car on the grid from Mercedes, and then I believe it's Red Bull and Ferrari. So now we line up into our grid box. Last time was on pole, was 2 rounds ago in Silverstone, our home Grand Prix. This is technically the last race before the summer break, because the next race is Spa, and that is we've got 2 European races after this, and then we're into some of the Asian and also going over to North America as well. So we're basically halfway through the season now, just about. This is round 12, 21 rounds, that's 10 and a half. So we're just over halfway through the season, but as we see for the rest of the grid to line up in their grid boxes. But now we're going to build up to the forward lights for the German Grand Prix. Let's see what sort of start I can get. Very quick lights out of the box, fairly decent traction coming out of the box as well. As you can see, Vettel having a lightning start on them super soft tyres. You go side by side with Stoffel Van Dorn. We've got yellow flags just behind. They've had some sort of crash, but as we go into turn 2, I believe, for the first time in this race, we've got 34 laps ahead of us, and at the minute this has been an ideal start, but with the fact that Vettel has moved up into P2, that does mean that with him on them super soft tyres, well, in theory, he should have a better pace than me at this current stage of the Grand Prix. But I want to do what I did in Hungary, which is just look after the tyres. I seem to learn how to look after the tyres quite well in Hungary, so I want to kind of do that around here. I don't want to really be on limit with my tyres, and maybe I might be able to squeeze the super softs out of this stint. Maybe have a super soft stint at the end of the Grand Prix, but let's see how long Vettel can take these super softs first, and then we'll see how that feeds into my strategy. And but at the minute he is right in the back, so I need to get my head down and really start to crack on. As we come to the end of lap number 1, we have got a 4/10 gap, basically 5, as we've missed our turning point. For turn number 1, we do run a little bit wide. That's allowed Vettel who come right in the back of me. He's probably going to be gunning for this race lead. It is his home Grand Prix, let's not forget. So he will be wanting to get a result here today. Van Dorn currently holds third. He seems to have the pace at the moment. I think we've still got Grosjean up in fourth as well. So at the minute they're doing quite well. The guys that who look a little bit out of place, they're doing well at the moment, and they're keeping a good buffer between myself and Ocon and the Red Bulls, the Mercedes. At the moment, seems like we have the pace. We set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and we are starting to stretch the legs of the field. Vettel's pace, his sudden pace off the line, is well, I'm seemingly matching it at the moment. As Grosjean has now moved up into P3. He also started on a set of super softs, so he has now dispatched Stoffel Van Dorn. We've got a few trains just forming behind. But the good thing for me is I'm not going to have any sort of issue that I've had in previous races where I'm going to come out in traffic, because obviously starting on a set of soft tyres means that I can take them longer than basically all the guys that started on a set of super softs, and the guys that started on softs will be coming in at the basically exact same time anyway. We've come to the end of lap number 4. Is it another fastest lap? No, it isn't. I thought I was going to go for 3 fastest laps in a row. But now Vettel is starting to stay within DRS range, but Daniel Ricciardo has now moved up into P3, so the superior Red Bull has finally shone through. But there's now quite the gap. You can just see on the mini-map just the big train, which obviously features my teammate and the out-of-place guys at the moment. But I'm feeling quite confident at the minute. I think Vettel is making a few mistakes now on them ever wearing super soft tyres, because the gap is now 1.8. I was struggling to really break DRS, but now I have broken DRS. He's starting to really drop back. As you can see, I think Daniel Ricciardo is slowly catching him actually, just looking at the mini-map. But Esteban Ocon at the minute still stuck in that train, so all the while that he's stuck in the train, it's just going to help me, to be honest, in the championship fight at the minute. As Vettel, I think, either is already pit. Yeah, I think he's already pit. Wow, the super soft run is in. Oh, to be fair, it is Morocco. That was lap 6, so he did take them a decent amount of time. Tyres already down to 33% one for me, so that does kind of add up. As now Ocon has now finally broken away, and ooh, okay, he started on a set of mediums, so we're on a slightly inverted strategy. He's returning a bit early for the hairpin, so but he's battling away with Stroll. So Lance Stroll is bigging up Team Callum at the minute. But I think Ocon's going to finally get out on top. He's switching constantly. But I think, well, I think we plan to come in around about lap 11. And I think we're going to fairly easily get to that in a minute. So maybe we do have a chance of using a set of super softs. So we set a purple middle sector, so our pace at the minute is still quite decent. Well, okay, so Ocon's got the pace at the minute. That's a 17.7 to put into comparison. I've been setting, well, okay, Vettel's going even quicker, but I've been setting around about low 18s. It's been very, very consistent. I've been planning on saying that these tyres have been very, very consistent to me, but clearly now they're starting to wear out, and now Ocon's managed to find some clear air. Now that he's got past Lance Stroll, who I'm guessing is already coming to the pits. He's starting to build up some pace, so now I was going to still keep my head down and just keep pushing all the way up until my in-lap and pit stop. Right, so Daniel Ricciardo just pit at the end of that lap. I was still setting personal best in like the middle sector. You can still see here that I'm fairly quick in the first sector, but he was still reeling me in. So I think my tyres are starting to hit the cliff now, so I'm going to come into the pits at the end of this lap and just respond, because I don't want him to, obviously you can't undercut me from that far away back, but I don't want to lose that much time to him. So then into the pits, just not gravel it, coming into the pits, here we go. And get it all slowed down. There we go. So into the pit lane, Van Dorn's back up into third now. I'm going to guess he's probably going to be coming into the pit sometime soon, because he started on a set of softs. We put on a fresh set of mediums, and I think that's McLaren mechanics coming out. So therefore Stoffel Van Dorn. Here comes Vettel, who went onto another set of super soft tyres. What on earth? What sort of strategy is Vettel on? He's on a very, very aggressive strategy as we emerge in P3 ahead of Daniel Ricciardo still. And Vettel is already back into the pit lane, so that aggressive strategy doesn't seem like it's going to be paying off. But what is the gap between me and Ocon? It's 8.1 seconds. So let's see if we can start to eat into that gap a little bit now. Right then, so my initial pace on these mediums have been fairly decent. As you go into the final sector, the gap is now down to 7 seconds, which was around about 7.2 in the first sector split, so it's slowly coming down. I haven't really been paying attention to the gap between me and Ricciardo, but it seems to have levelled out at the moment. He's still there. So it's just about keeping Ricciardo basically there and hoping that he doesn't start making any more inroads, because he is on that soft tyre. We set basically almost identical lap to my personal best the lap before. Gap down to 6.3 seconds, so we're taking huge chunks of time out of my teammate now. Right then, so Ocon pits at the end of lap number 16. I was still taking time out of him. I've taken my foot off the pedal a little bit just to save tyres, but we're still pretty much on my personal best. But we have been pulling away. It's tiny over to this now. Through turn 1, but now Ocon is on a fresh set of softs, so his pace, in theory, should be a lot quicker than me now. So quite an uneventful race at the moment, just the way the race strategy is panning out. It's all about just being consistent, putting in the good lap times and not really making any mistakes. Got some yellow flags behind. I think Daniel Ricciardo's got an issue. I think, yeah, but Jeff's just told me that Daniel Ricciardo's got some sort of issue. We're just constantly in green flags, is obviously Ricciardo's just behind, but that is huge calamities for Daniel Ricciardo, who is having a very good race. He's been overtaken by Ocon, who has already come in for a set, obviously for a set of soft tyres. So now it looks like there's no one else to really get involved between the battle between me and Ocon, as Verstappen now inherits that position now up into P3. So we'll see what the gap is between myself and Ocon. It says around about 9 seconds. Need to keep quite, I don't know, on my toes, because I don't want to lose that much time to Ocon in this stint, because his pace does seem fairly decent at the moment, but we have quite the gap. It's 9.7 seconds, I think he was still negotiating Daniel Ricciardo when he went through that split, but I think we're looking comfortable at the minute, but I'm not going to count my chickens yet. Got a first back marker who's just coming out of the pits in the form one of the Saubers. It's Felipe Nasr. It's quite a wide track, so I don't think we should be too affected by the back markers, but I'm planning on just coming in at the end of next lap. Tyres 44% worn, should be around about 50% worn, maybe towards the end of next lap. So the strategy fell quite nicely. Just getting past Felipe Nasr, who's given us a little bit of DRS assistance as well. But both myself and Ocon still yet to need to do our final stops in this race. I think we can pretty much cruise this. I don't think there's been many highlights in this race, just because ever since the start I've been let to just drive off into the distance and just maintain my lead. Right then, into the pits at the end of lap number 24. I'll slow down. There we go. And basically got 10 laps, around 10 laps to take the set of softs to the end of the Grand Prix. Ocon carries on, obviously, because he is going to take them softs a little bit longer, so his softs at the end will be slightly fresher than mine, but we're going to rejoin in second place, as Verstappen, I think, has already made his last stop, as he's on a set of mediums, so he's going to be taking them to the end. So just going to wait for Ocon to pit, and we're all groovy. I think we might have this race victory, unless any sort of safety car or anything comes to spoil the party. So it's come to the end of the 26. Ocon still hasn't pit, but we set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix well into the 16s as we run awfully wide. Coming out of turn 1, car is feeling rather hooked. But I'm kind of questioning why Ocon's staying out for so long. Unless he's going to a set of super softs in the final stint, he should have pit already by now. Right, so Ocon finally pit. So let's see what tyres he puts on. Because I think he could take, if he wanted to, he could take a set of super softs to the end, and that's what he's doing. Oh shit. Right, okay. So I need to be pretty bulletproof at the end of this race, because he's going to be catching me on fresher, grippier tyres. More traffic once again, right on the back of Felipe Nasr. And what is the gap then? What is the magical number between myself and Ocon? It's 5.3. Oh my god, that gap was coming down very, very quickly. 4.4 seconds. What on earth? Ocon's pace is absolutely amazing. Oversteer snap, see how much I'm pushing the car. Gap 3.7 as he goes through the sector split. 3.1. 15.1. I did a 16.9. Holy shit. As now I've got back markers, got Hulkenberg and Kvyat who are really holding me up, but they are going to give me a little bit of DRS assistance. I've got to open up a like, okay, almost got taken out by Hulkenberg there. I could very, very lucky. Purple first sector, but I'm going to need purple everything. very wide. Coming out the final corner, pushing these tyres to the limits, 16.4. That's 2/10 off my fastest as I do a dirty corner cut through turn 1. Gap down to 2.6 seconds. The only saving grace is the fact that I know them super softs are going off very, very, very quickly. But my softs are feeling quite second hand now as well. Come to the end of lap number 31. The gap is under a second at least now. It's 1.3. Oh, it might be next lap when he's attacking me. Oh, this is really coming down to the wire. I'm not sure why every single series and every single episode of like anything that I'm putting out at the minute, everything comes down to like the final couple of laps. Oh my god, my heart can't take it. End of lap number 32, and he is right there. I've got 2 laps to basically defend my first place, and this is just so crucial. I need to stay ahead of Ocon in the well, I need to stay ahead of Ocon in this race so I can catch him up in the championship. But we've run a little bit wide coming out of that corner. Ocon is now right on the back of me. I'm going to maximise my engine, but I'm running out of rich mixture. And just look at the speed of that Force India with a bit of DRS assistance, but we cut back into the slipstream. Oh, we're very late on the brakes. We're going to dive it back up the inside of Ocon. Get some terrible traction, but we stay ahead of him. Luckily, Ocon got past me early enough along the straight that I could duck back into his slipstream. Keeping a very wary eye on my fuel because I have a bad tendency of running out of fuel at this circuit. We are underneath the threshold that we need. Let's drop it down into lean just on the start-finish straight. Just to save a bit of fuel, we need to be 0.1. At the minute we are above that, but ideally I'd like to use rich mixture down this back straight, but I don't think I'm going to have enough fuel to do so. So it's just going to have to be pure exit speed. Quite a lot of oversteer coming out of this corner. And once again, Ocon has got the DRS open. This time he's going to be past me way earlier along the straight, but now back in the slipstream of Ocon. Dive it back up the inside. Here we go. Taking a huge amount of curb on the inside. Ocon's got the outside line though. He's got some good traction on that curb. Let's bump it up into rich mixture. Oh god, we're getting very close going along here. Trying to dive it down the outside. Forced Ocon a little bit early on the apex. There we go. I don't think he should be able to, we have to bump it down back into standard. Ocon's very close. Go defensive into the stadium section for the final time. Why am I always defending on the last lap? What is wrong with my pace at end of races? Huge amounts of oversteer in this final sector. Got back markers up ahead, but they won't affect us. I've just come out of the final corner just about now. Pushing so hard up to the line. And we take the win here in Germany. Oh my god, that was just absolutely mental. That was absolutely mental. Oh, I'm always very, very warm, but no, that race was very, very sweaty. I'm not going to lie. And but that's another 1-2 for Force India once again dominating the race. But Ocon's pace at the end there was a bit too much for me. So I'm desperate defending to say the least. But we just managed to hold on. So we take the full 25 points with Ocon taking second place. Max Verstappen took P3 with Lewis Hamilton in 4th. Daniel Ricciardo recovered to P5 after his engine issue. Vettel 6th. Sergio Perez in 7th. Valtteri Bottas in 8th. Stoffel Van Dorn in 9th with Fernando Alonso round out the top 10. We can have a look at the rest of the field. A few of you guys want to see the rest of the field, so this is the results of the bottom half as well. And now we can take a look at the driver's standings. Both myself and Ocon are tied on points after the German Grand Prix. That is how close it's getting between myself and Esteban Ocon now. Daniel Ricciardo still in 3rd and Lewis Hamilton still in 4th. They are, well, 75 points away is Daniel Ricciardo, so he's quite far off the lead. He still realistically can still catch up if me and Ocon have some bad races, but recently on our run of form, both of us have been absolutely unstoppable. Max Verstappen moves up to P5 as Stroll drops to P6. Bottas moves up to P7 as the other Williams of Felipe Massa drops down to P8 with Alonso and Perez rounding out the top 10. And now we can look at the Constructors' Championship. Obviously, 213 points each. It's 426. We are currently on at the moment at the over halfway stage now after round 12. We have 199 points, almost 200 points separate Force India and the guys in second, which is Red Bull at the moment, who still holds second. It's still a fair gap between Red Bull and Mercedes. Once again, still a fair gap between Mercedes and Williams, and then an even bigger gap, really. Well, pretty much similar, very similar gap once again between Williams and McLaren Honda. and then just a little bit further behind is Ferrari, so they're slowly catching up McLaren Honda after a fairly decent race for them today. Haas currently holds 7th still, with Toro Rosso in 8th, Manor still holds 9th, with Sauber and Renault still scoring the points this season. But other than that, guys, if you did enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like down below, subscribe for more of this content, and also leave a comments down below on how I can improve the videos and general thoughts on the video itself. Also, go in the description for the playlist if you want to catch up on any of the previous episodes, and all of my social media if you want to follow me on Twitter, Instagram and Snapchat. They'll be all down there. But other than that, guys, thanks for watching. I've been Alex, and I'll see you later. Cheers.